AC Sports Live is brought to you by All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. Earn your Class A and Class B license and endorsements with courses online and in person in the city of Long Beach. Call or visit the website 909-708-4861, www.allincdotraining.com. If you're unemployed, underemployed, or just want to change a career, scholarships are available, so don't worry about the cost. Give them a call. All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Mood Swing Apparel, DEM Clothing. Dominate every matchup, period. Check them out, Mood Swing Apparel on Instagram. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Cannon Nation Boxing. If you want to learn the sweet science of boxing, or if you just want to get a real good workout in, working out and training with pros, check out CannonNationBoxing.com and become the best version of yourself today. Yo, check 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. AC Sports Live on this Tuesday evening. Full show. Full show for you tonight. Glad you're tuning in. I'm glad to be back in the saddle. Just got back from a conference in Sacramento. Got some stories to tell. Pretty full weekend, full slate. NFL Combine. What notables jumped out to you? The NBA, we have a problem. Native talk. Now there are groups who want the Redskins to be the name of the Washington football team. We'll talk about that. My 2 cents. Mental reps. This is AC Sports Live Tuesday night, like we always do about this time. Let's get it in.
You're quite hostile.
Yes, sir. All right, we in the building. I'm fresh out the boxing ring. Well, a boxing workout. They just started sparring when I was on my way out. So, you know. It was the decision to go live and be diligent. Get in the ring, get beat up for a couple rounds, or come, get in my groove. I got my stress out. So it was a good deal. Make a good decision and come and get it done. James Mack in the building. Hey brother, I still need your address because you've been holding it down since the pandemic. If you can fit the extra large, shoot me your address. Queenie Lane already got her t-shirt. Let me hook you up, Big J. The Rubio method is in here, and it is showtime, like it always is. Plug 1, SG Trilogy. Big up my brother. Plug 1, plug 2, AC2. The Dragon. Yava Made. AC2 up in San Jose. Appreciate you tuning in, son. Dr. Hill and his Hills channel. He said, let's go. Oh yeah, for sure. And if you need a different size, let me know. I do have a large or two, but I have a lot of extra larges. All right, man, my quick trip to Sacramento. I got a chance to go to the Sacramento Kings versus the Chicago Bulls game last night. Great game, great environment. I've never been to Sacramento. What's it called? One Center, whatever it's called. It's a great environment, man. I mean, I can see why it's hard to win there. They have a great environment. It was a packed house for a regular season game. We almost got arrested because we were challenged by the worst Karen of all times. I promise you, this was the meanest lady I've ever met in my entire life. I was with a bunch of dignitaries from a school district, And these dignified brothers had doctorates. But this lady was so mean. She was hitting our chair with her cane. And she was calling us all kind of names. Everything but the most severe word, which is kind of appropriate because tonight's topics, we're talking about native talk a little bit later. And it got so bad, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but just because it was not part of my show tonight, but it happened. I had to text my wife while it was going on. I said, man, some people in this world are just miserable. This lady behind me was mad because we were having a good time. And you know how it is when you're watching a ball game and the ball game gets a little bit out of hand. The Kings were up by 20. And she says, you bastards aren't even watching the game. I came to watch the game and you're just talking and halfway watching the game. And I was just kind of like, wow. And the guys I was sitting next to were like just truly surprised that they were getting berated like this. So the guys turned around and told her a few things about herself, and then was back and forth, and it got vulgar. And then security had to come, and I'm just thinking, this doesn't look good. So when things died down, I had to turn around myself. I had to take my hat off, and I says, ma'am, you've been nothing but rude and mean to me and my friends since we got here. I'm not sure what's going on in your life, but I'm gonna pray for you so that you can enjoy the rest of this game. She said, don't pray for me. You're just like them. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I am just like them. I'm highly educated and I understand your frustration, but I'm gonna pray for your shalom. And I pray that Yeshua will give you the peace that passes all understanding, and that you will be able to enjoy the rest of this game. She was like, I don't want to hear any of that. She gave me the talk to the hand, and she hit our chair with her cane again. And I was just like, ooh, you're letting the enemy use you. And then the security guard came back and said, is there still a problem? I was like, no, I just let this young lady know that I was going to pray for her. And he said, oh, that's great. Thanks. And she was so mad at that point. That demon that was on her was so upset. And I said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your game. And it was just crazy how God just kind of like shut her up. She was so upset that she left. I was just like, wow, man, what's wrong with her, man? And I was just kind of like, yeah, she was a test for all the brothers that was up there. Because we was all, we up in the rankings in education. We got good jobs. We in a good spot. And it was, we were brothers. And, my buddy Mike, he's a white guy. And then we had another guy, he's a Latino guy. But 4 of us were brothers. And there was an old white lady. And then her partner came, and she was just as mean. They were just 2 old Gertrudes. And it was just like, man, I wish you could have some peace, because we're good guys. But she couldn't see that. And she went to calling us bastards and stuff like that. It was wild, man. But we didn't go to jail, so I'm happy about that. I got Roddy Sauce in here. What's up, brother? Yeah, SG. She had mad issues, but I think she was being used by the enemy. And I recognize that. And when I said I'm going to pray for you, that shut her up real quick. Rube says, some people always look like they're smelling onions. Just leave them alone to be miserable with themselves. That's what I was trying to do. But the Holy Spirit told me to say something to her to make her understand that I know you're being used by the enemy to make us get out of character. But I nipped that in the bud real quick, and it was a beautiful thing because she left. She left. She had to leave. It's no shade on Gertrude. That's my great grandma's name. Oh, my bad. It was Large Marge from the Pee Wee Herman movie. Large Marge sent you. She had the short haircut. She had the cane and the knee brace, and had her king's outfit on. So no disrespect. We love Mother Gertrude, but she was a Large Marge for sure. All right, man. The NFL Combine. NFL Combine was just last week, and we saw one of the prop bets come crashing down. That's the fastest 40 of all time. And we saw a 4.21 by Xavier Worthy. So he's worthy. 4.21 is an incredible time. But do we put too much on the 40? It's just one measurable. It does not indicate whether or not you can play football. It does mean that your speed should translate to the next level. And for most positions, it's just a measurable to see whether or not, you have the explosiveness to play at the next level. And we saw some extremely athletic big guys get down pretty quick. Taking nothing away from what Xavier Worthy did. 4.21 is amazing. But you take a look at him, he's a little bit on the thin side. And you would figure a track guy who weighs under 200 pounds is very doable. I mean, we can even see a 3.9 if we saw a track guy play football and have a perfect start, and everything falls into place, and everything in the universe is lined up, and he runs a 3.9. Bo Jackson, I believe someone said he ran a 3.9 unofficially, but what does it all mean? Because you look at historically, I think I saw a graphic. It was about the fastest 40s of all time. Xavier Worthy, 2024, runs a 4.21. John Ross, 2017, ran a 4.22. Kalen Barnes from Baylor ran a 4.23 in 2022. Chris Johnson, former running back in 2008, ran a 4.24. DJ Turner the second ran a 4.26. So now what I'm getting at, does it always equate into an NFL All-Star? Xavier Worthy, John Ross, Kalen Barnes, Chris Johnson, DJ Turner, Reek Woolen, Dry Archer. Do any of these guys jump off the name chart for you? Like, do you remember them? I know Chris Johnson was an All-Pro. I'm not sure if anybody else on this list was an All-Pro. But they're all 4.2 40s. What it can do, it can give you conversation in the war room. When that scout has to come back to his fellow coaches and say, hey, I saw this kid. He ran a 4.21. And that will get you in the door. That will get your draft stock to rise. So more power to him. And anybody that can run an amazing time. When the big guys run a 4.4, oh my God, it's big time news. Does it equate to an all-pro player? Some of the best players in the history of the NFL have not run fast 40s. Some have not even run at the combine. They go to the pro day and they show what they got in front of their own scouts at their own facility. So I don't try to get, I mean, it's fun to watch. I watched all the 40s. I watch all the agility drills. I think it's a good show. I think the NFL is in a great spot because they could sell a workout and people will tune in and watch the entire thing. Big guys to quarterbacks. It's good, clean, wholesome TV to see who wants it, who's prepared. Who's in here? All right. Sweet brother Noomsy is in here. Large Marge scared me for years from the Pee Wee Herman. Man, turns out Large Marge was a ghost. That tripped me out, man. Rodney Saw said, Mom from Dr. Detroit. Man, she was tough. I'm headed to bed early, my brother. I appreciate you, sweet brother. You working hard? Get your sleep. Get your 8 hours. You need your beauty sleep, sweet brother Noomsy. Yes, we pump up the 40 every combine. It's the measurable that everybody asks first, even though it's not the end all be all. I played with Sammy Knight, former USC Trojan, longtime New Orleans Saint. I believe Sammy ran a 4.7. Sammy was all pro. Jerry Rice, 4.6, best receiver of all time. You all remember Anquan Bolden? All pro, 4.7. Rubio says, still have to know the play, run, the route, catch the ball, and not die. Big fella. Can you move? All right. Can you play? Dr. Hill said, track speed versus game speed. Yeah, I remember Ronaldo Nehemiah, Olympic great. Played for the 49ers for a hot minute. That track speed does not translate when you got Darryl Green hand in your chest. I've been liking Worthy since his first freshman game. He's not just a fast guy. He can actually run routes, just very thin, but he's no Darius Hayward Bay. So he's not just a track guy. He can play. He might be like Smitty for the Eagles, just super thin, but he can play. He's durable. He's going to get drafted pretty high. He looks like a Raider because Raiders love speed. You can sell that speed to your fans. I got the fastest player in the NFL. Is he faster than Tyreek Hill? On the field, I don't know. Quickness and speed, they're two different things too. Dr. Hill said Cliff Branch, Willie Gault, Bob Hayes, best track speed football players. Oh yeah, them guys were technical too. I remember Willie Gault taking ballet with like Lynn Swan and John Stallworth. Cliff Branch, the great uncle, I believe, of my good buddies, Derek Branch, Ian Branch, the Branch brothers, Zion Branch at SC and Zach Branch at SC. Those branches, boy, they can play. Rodney Sauce, I think he could be Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson was thin. And I don't believe Deshaun ran the fastest 40, but Deshaun Jackson was the fastest guy on the field whenever he played. As G said, who was my fastest teammate in college? Me. No. Technically, I had the fastest time, but I believe my co-host of the 1585 show, Jim McElroy, ran on the actual track team. And he ran 20 point in the 200. And I believe he ran sub 10.5, 10.4s, and 10.3s. So he was the fastest. Some other guys ran pretty fast. Skip Hicks was fast. Derek Ayers was fast. Chris Alexander, who was still a member of the fastest 4x100 meters in high school history at Hawthorne High School with Curtis Conway and those guys. Chris was the fastest. It was some fast dudes, man. We had Kevin Smith, rest in peace, from Texas. I believe he played for Killeen, ran track for Killeen, Texas. I believe that was the team. There was a couple of Texas track teams that were super fast, and those guys can roll, man. Can straight out roll. Some of these 4.2 guys are not as fast with pads because the pads are 25 pounds. Jim has some serious wheels, yeah, but Jimmy Mack weighed 150 pounds. Now the quarterbacks didn't perform, but Michael Penix Jr. did, so he shined. There's something with him and them do-rags, man. He rocked his do-rag everywhere. Did he wear a do-rag for the Heisman? I'm all for the do-rag, man. I got a do-rag on right now. But there's a time and place for everything. But you know, at this point I would have wore a black one. But I know he wore the purple one because he's a UW Husky and he want to keep the Huskies alive. I get it, man. What did jump out for the quarterbacks was a statement by JD5, Jaden Daniels. He said he's not performing at the combine because he's going to work out at his pro day. And his decision not to test was less about him and more about his teammates. By not testing, a lot of teams will want to check him out, and that will give his teammates that same shine. His teammates will get the same exposure he gets at the LSU workouts. And then they can run 39 yards. Because you know at your pro day, you can shave off a couple of inches off your 40. Because you set the 40 up for the scouts. So all of them guys going to run fast. Ohio State's been doing it for years. They run a downhill 40. Here's the secret. They run a downhill 40 from the 50, in the middle of the field, downhill, off the dome. They might have changed that recently because somebody caught on to it. Why are the Ohio State guys running so fast? They running downhill. Them dudes running 4.2s and 4.1s. And like, remember Sean Springs ran a 4.2? at 200 pounds. Everybody like, this is going to be the best player of all time. SG said he needs a do-rag endorsement. He does. I don't think it's going to pay much. Do-rags aren't very expensive, and do-rags are only being carried, the good ones are only being carried at Friday's Beauty Supply and Sally's. So you have to find a way to get them do-rags on the big shelf somewhere where it's big time. Other things that jumped out to me, man, they heard my good buddy Ray Domingo said Spencer Rattler had the worst combine of all the quarterbacks. First and foremost, man, how do you have a dad bod at the combine? There were too many guys out there, DBs included, that weren't ripped up. If I'm getting ready for the league, I'm going to be jacked. I'm not going to have a tire around my stomach. And it's not the fat shame, and this is the athlete shame. Spencer Rattler and anybody else that came to the combine with a donut, looking like Patrick Mahomes. Get in the gym and show you are ready, man. Because then you didn't perform well in any of the drills. I tell kids all the time, you're going to a combine, you're going to a camp. Be ready. Don't go out there and put together a bad product, because that will be the lasting impression. Those scouts take notes and they go back to their little war room and they say, hey, man, Rattler wasn't ready. And he transferred 3 times. What does that say about you? Get yourself in shape before you go and represent your product. The least thing you can do is stop drinking soda pop, eating all the sweets, eating up all the cereal, eating up all the cornbread, all the hog maws. I like pig feet. I like hog maws. Spencer Rattler, I hope you still get drafted. I still want you to be successful, but you know you should have came to the combine ripped up, man. I know who will get an endorsement deal. Hartman out of Notre Dame looks like a romance novel cover. I mean, shoot. I'm a very heterosexual married man. This is a good looking dude. Make no bones about it. He had no problem with the ladies. And then when he ran his 40, oh man, he's a Pert commercial waiting to happen. I mean, he's going to take Troy Polamalu's spot on the Head and Shoulders commercial. He don't have to go to the pros. He can just do hair commercials. Got the dastardly, handsome, chiseled face and the hair from heaven, the kind we dream about. Sam Hartman, you got a future, man. Can you act? I know you're going to be on The Bachelor. You're going to be on The Bachelor like Jesse Palmer. You're going to be on there. He's going to be on there. No doubt about it. And there he is. There's Ray Domingo. He said, Pert, they still have that? Oh, yeah. Pert is the one where you knock off the dandruff off your shoulder. He got that Pert. Yeah, she said he's marketable. No suede do-rags. I got a suede do-rag. It don't stay on. Midway through the night, it's off. So the suede do-rag is a waste. It's terrible, man. So the combine has come and gone. The draft is next. What has it done? Some guys, it's raised their stock. For the guys who didn't perform that well, if you have great film, the combine's not going to hurt you. Now, your interviews could hurt. Now, if you were just an idiot, like the young man who said there's no outer space and there are no planets and the earth is flat, he's really hurting his draft stock. Because when you bring a kid in like that, you have to worry about his locker room presence, his teammate camaraderie, his ability to problem solve and to think for himself. And I mean, well, you know he can think for himself, but is he going to be a forward thinker to a point where it's a problem? Where he's going to start doing things a la Kyrie Irving. So the combine is great for those who are on the cusp of being a high draft pick. A lot of those guys are just going to be 5th and 6th and 7th round picks. But if you pull a 4-3 or a 4-4, chances are You've raised your stock, and now guys will be getting drafted a lot higher. I'm going to take a break. We'll come right back, talk about some NBA, and the Washington football team may be trying to go back to the Redskins. Let's see what that's all about. We'll be right back after this spot from the NGBN TV network.
1 week after launching our exclusive sneak peek, NGBN TV was live for 3 days of continuous coverage from Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas.
NGBN TV is live from Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58.
The one-of-a-kind streaming TV network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s was the conversation for the big game about men's mental health. And the world of athletes, celebrities, and influencers were on notice. But we're just getting started with new partnerships announced like the Team Nike 3-on-3 Championship and new platforms available to download the NGBN TV app. So, what are you waiting for? Download the app today from your favorite streaming device or check us out at ngbn.tv. This is NGBN TV.
What's up? My name is Chris Rubio, and I'm the host of The Rubio Method on the NGBN TV network.
Focus. Focus up.
Long snapping and life are very, very similar.
We have a great show that's going to educate you, inspire you, and most importantly, entertain you. I say most importantly because that's what I really want to do. And we're just kind of going on this journey together. And I'm going to make sure as we go on this journey together, you're going to have a good time while doing it. So check out The Rubio Method on NGBN TV.
Dominate every matchup, period. This should be the mindset of every competitor in both team and individual sports and in life. Each day we wake up, regardless of the task, regardless of what we're facing, we gotta decide whether we're gonna dominate or be dominated, period. There is no in between. We believe whoever wears our gear embodies that DEM mindset. Dominate every matchup, period. The question is, which side will you be on?
We're back. Thanks to my sponsors, All In CDO Training, DEM Clothing. I actually have another sponsor on deck. It is Impact Silica. One of my son's trainers, Long Beach coach extraordinaire, strength coach, speed coach. Coming soon, it is a recovery solution that you add to your water. It is incredible, man. And I'm 50. I'm getting it in. All In CDO Training is in full effect. The future of commercial driving, Class A license, Class B, theory test prep, behind the wheel training, 909-708-4861. Hit us up. Check out the website, allincdotraining.com. And the Rubio Method. Check the Rubio Method out. And after this, The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. The NGBN TV network, man, we're loading up. We got a ton of shows coming your way. I believe we got, I know for sure, at least 5 new shows coming your way. And they're directly connected to AC Sports Live. So, stay tuned. Coming soon, more hotness coming your way. Let's go to the chat before we hop into this NBA situation we got brewing, where we seeing crazy blowouts. I think it's a problem. AC2 says they're gonna draft him just for the wine, ladies. He's gonna get drafted just because. I'm digging that DEM clothing commercial. That is youngster AC2 and his NIL DEM clothing. He's also part of the Impact Silica. So his little stock is going to be rising really soon. I'm proud of that. The NBA, man, we got to give LeBron his flowers once again. LeBron James, 40,000 points. The King has once again eclipsed everybody. Longevity, perseverance, grace, class, the epitome of an NBA star, and pretty smut free. No smut on his name. So shout out to LeBron James. Now, I asked a question in someone's top group. Why isn't LeBron James as loved as MJ or Kobe? And you have to go back. As a victim of recency bias, people hated Michael Jordan. And people hated Kobe. Rest in peace. So I have to stop myself and remember how I was. We're not going to appreciate Bron till he's gone. Why aren't LeBron James sneakers as popular as Michael Jordan's, as Kobe Bryant's, as Kyrie Irving's? Like, is it the marketing team? Like, why aren't we more universally LeBron fans? Is it the decision? Interesting. SG, 40,000 is no joke. Has he exceeded expectations, or did you expect him to score the most points ever? He has exceeded expectations. However, the spectacle is lacking. And before I forget, April 6th, we want to train 100,000 people on how to equip ourselves to save a life. April 6th. Go to the NGBN TV network website and register now. The loudest cry is when they go silent. Remember, our mission on this network is to save men's lives. Here's my interstitial. It'll be up there as a reminder. So now back to Bron. Is it all about stats? It can't be, because statistically, nobody can mess with Bron. Bron is an anomaly. The decision was the worst PR move by ESPN. LBJ shouldn't have been encouraged to do that. It was, and it didn't sit well with us. But is that all? I think the flopping, the crying, the championships with D Wade. I think the championship where they came back 3-1 on the Dubs, that was his signature. That was it. That was the pinnacle. I don't think LeBron James wins another championship. The bubble was the bubble. And then you start seeing stats. They call Michael Jordan the media GOAT. But the actual GOAT is LeBron because of scores, assists, rebounds, steals, those things. But what they can't do is erase what the media did with Michael Jordan. And that is create a god. A shooting god. As in SG. Not Sam Gardner, but shooting god. GAWD. We got Michael Jordan surpassing Dr. J as the face of elegance, of power, of dominance at the guard position. And he had this run of playing every single game, being Defensive Player of the Year, winning the scoring title, 10 times? And dominating an era where he was the best player in the league. Now, LeBron James has dominated an era, but he hasn't dominated in the same fashion as Michael Jordan. They had the same access to social media. And that's kind of why I question if LeBron has received more hate, because he's not as highly regarded as the GOAT as Michael Jordan and Kareem, Kobe, Wilt, Bill Russell, Bird, Magic. Something's missing there. Something's going on there. Something in there ain't sitting quite right. People hated Kobe and Jordan, but they respected their work ethic and attitude more than they do that of LeBron. Hot take. We don't respect LeBron because we've seen him sit. We've seen him duck. We've seen him take a boxer stance and avoid conflict by sitting out versus top-notch opponents. That's the new culture of the NBA, taking nights off. Is that damaging LeBron's legacy? Absolutely. Ryan Saw said most of LeBron's shoes are big and bulky and have big straps going across them until a few years ago. Team jumping is probably what hurts him. Team jumping didn't hurt Shaq. People love Shaq, and Shaq didn't even have the best work ethic. But Shaq had that dominant Debo thing. The Mike Tyson effect. Those kicks look like bricks. I bought a pair of LeBrons and I gave them to a kid. They were so big and bulky and heavy, they hurt my knees. He's the GOAT of his era. And that's safe to say. He does everything that previous stars frowned on. MJ was poetry in motion with a lot of dog in him. And the dog part is why AI is one of my favorite players. I knew AI was never going to win a championship. But that dog. Randy Mingo says, agree, big, heavy shoes, can't wear them. Big, bulky, heavy shoes. We love Fit Shaq, not Fat Shaq. Fat Shaq was team hopping. So Fat Shaq went to the Celtics, and that knocked him off my greatest Laker conversation. But Shaq didn't move until he got old. Bron does it in his prime. Well, Bron is kind of old. He's just playing at a high level. He's playing at a high level. Shaq has charisma. LeBron doesn't. But yeah, I don't think LeBron has a future in broadcasting. James Max said, indeed. So, the problem is Adam Silver and the NBA have created a product. I think they've lost the heart of the American consumer. Well, when you see the Celtics beat the Dubs in the first half, 82-38, these are professional athletes getting paid millions of dollars, and you're getting beat by 60 in the first half. I don't know what the final score was, but safe to say people were going home. So how do you fix the NBA? How do you restore the same conversation we had with the All-Star game? How do you restore a sense of competitiveness? How do you restore that? It's gone. Topic for another day. Hey, the Washington football team, the Commanders, the football team and the Commanders are being sued by a Native American group. And this gentleman's name, he's leading the talk. And I had to take a look at it and see if he had any different perspective. His name is Bill Dykman, and he's one of the members of the Native American Guardians Association, NAGA. And they're accusing the NFL and new owner Josh Harris of the Commanders of defamation, civil conspiracy, and civil rights violations for their role in suppressing Native American history in a complaint filed in a U.S. District Court, North Dakota. So there are 150,000 signatures that say Native Americans want the Redskin name to be reinstated. And I don't know if I agree with that, because even if you get 150,000 people saying, yeah, go back to Redskins, it still offends most. And if it's offensive to most, then you don't need to have it. There are so many different things this country has to somehow make right. From the racist, embedded racism in our country that we have to somehow, we can't erase it. We have to deal with it. We have to address it. You can't just sweep it under a carpet. And then the people who want to fight for these names, like the Atlanta Braves, and all the high schools named after for Indian names. Is there a way to make it right, like the Florida State Seminoles did with the Seminole tribe? Is that sufficient? It may not be sufficient, but it's a gesture. It's a partnership. Utah Utes, it's a partnership. Now, if they can supply jobs and recognition on a consistent basis, and you find a term, a name that is not derogatory, as in a scalped human being's skin was red, which brings back the same type of idea of picnic to African Americans, where you can't say the N-word, but look at the origin and the racist origins. Now, the mascot for the Washington Redskins was created by a Native American. So the image itself wasn't as bad as the name. So there's a happy medium that can be found. Are they willing to do so? The fans that want to continue to use the name Redskins but not have anything to do with fair and just and doing the right thing. There has to be a way to appease the majority. I don't want to offend anybody. Like, I'm still offended that the Compton High School basketball team is called the Compton Tar Babes. Like, I know that it's a baby Tartar. A Tartar is a Trojan, a warrior, or whatever it is. But if you go to any basketball gym in the Moore League and there's an image of all the mascots in the Moore League, it's the Compton Tar Babes. It's a black baby with a diaper on it, with a sword. Tar Babes, Tar Babies. So we're in cancel culture. We have to be knowledgeable and respectful of everything, including our mascots. So once again, they're at the table thinking about what we can name the nation's capital's football team. They came up with Commanders, and then the Native American group NAGA said that is the name of the oppressor, the Commanders. You might as well name them the Washington colonizers. Find an animal, find a real tribe to partner with that's in the DC area. There is something that can be done without offending the world. If you want to do what's right, if you want to be on the right side of history. I'm not sure how you feel about it. Let's go to the comments. Before I go further, Rodney Saw said change the defense 3 seconds back to illegal defense and the league will regain balance with post play. The final score was a lot to a little. Somebody won, as Booger McFarland would say, somebody had a lot of points. The other team did not. SG said, I'm not Native American, and it's offensive to me. I am Native American. I am Eastern Pequot. And I think there is another way about going about this. I'm trying, but they're not listening to me, SG. Do they still have the Tar Babes picture on the wall? The last time I checked, there's a Tar Baby on the wall in Compton's gym. There was a Tar Baby on the wall in Wilson's gym. I have not been to Compton's gym in a while. It would not be surprising to me if they removed it after all this cancel culture and everything like that. You never understood that. Rodney says, I hate it. So we'll see what happens. I think they still need, if they don't want to have it Commanders, the football team still actually started growing on me. The Washington football team actually started growing on me a little bit. But there are animals, man. There are different breeds of dogs, different breeds of birds, different breeds of cats, different types of warriors out there. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just being, because there's a movie out. I didn't do a sports flicks. I could have. It's called Imagine the Indian. It was on Prime Video for rental for like $5. And it just reiterates how offensive it is to most people. It'd be like calling the New York Knickerbockers the New York N-words, and we're not doing that. It would be like calling the New York Yankees the New York Caucasians, and they're not doing that. Now, Yankee can be seen as historically offensive in itself, but that's neither here nor there, and that is not the topic of discussion today. But all these teams, all the conquistador teams, the Dons, all of them, you got to go and take a look. Mike said the Washington Wolverines. It has a nice ring to it, but I think Michigan has a trademark on the Wolverines. James Mack said, what about Ryan Garcia? Ryan Garcia I have on my show next week because Ryan Garcia is going through. Something is not right with Ryan Garcia. I'm not going to put him on the Tender Love Report, but he's not well. And I think the lights are too bright for the young man. AC2 said the Washington Warlocks. Mystical character. I believe that's a male witch. So a lot like the Washington Wizards. You go something make-believe. Like the Griffins, Warlocks, Wizards, Magic, Heat. There's something out there that's going to stick. Commanders didn't stick. I've never taken to the Commanders. So speaking of Ryan Garcia, the leaked video by Ryan Garcia of Tank Davis versus Haney, Devin Haney, is big news. Apparently, a few years back, Haney sparred Tank, and the cut up video is him getting whooped by a 20-year-old Tank. He was 16. It was trying to sell a fight, cause some beef, and now Ryan Garcia is going through a mental issue. And we are very cognizant and aware that this stuff is real here at the NGBN TV network. So I hope Ryan Garcia is getting the help he needs to get his sanity back. Because as next week we'll kind of unfold what is going on with this young man. He's saying he's been kidnapped. He's been made to look at certain things. He's been made to do things. So I hope it's not as bad as it sounds. Caitlin Clark passes Pistol Pete Maravich as the NCAA Division I all-time leading scorer. Good for her. She's a baller. She's going to do well in the WNBA. She's going to make a ton of money, and she's going to be one of the faces of women's basketball. Shannon Sharp says she's a bucket. She's bigger to the game than any other woman in the history of women's basketball, which is a stretch this soon. I would like to argue that Juju Watkins of USC, who has a freshman tear, she is destroying everyone that she faces, and she has scored way more points than Caitlin Clark did in her freshman year. So I reached out to Dr. Nikki Woods, who played basketball at UCLA with us, and I says, you're close to Juju. You think Juju is going to pass up Caitlin Clark? She said it's very possible. The girl is a straight dog. She gets after it, and she's got better numbers as a freshman than Caitlin Clark or any other freshman in the history of the game. So keep an eye out for Juju. She is also a walking bucket. AC2 said Warlock can still have Native American representation. They don't want this new group. NAGA wants that's too close to the other word, them to remain Redskins, because critical race theory is erasing Native Americans from the history books along with African Americans. So if we can at least stay in the conversation and we stay relevant, I think there's another way of doing that. I was at a conference last week and they said we want to start the conference out by paying homage to those people who lived on this land before us, so that everywhere we go, they're going to start saying they lended us this land and we're working on it, making money on this land. We want to thank the ancestors. It was a weird thing, but it happened. I just heard that my center for the Philadelphia Eagles Jason Kelce has retired. He's no longer going to play football. He's going to go spend time with his family. I think he's well deserved. I'm happy for Jason Kelce. I hope he continues with his successful podcast, raises his daughters, and rides off into the sunset because he deserves it. Now, my other question is, can we still run the tush push without Jason Kelce? That's what I'm worried about. Can we still run the brotherly love shove without Kelce? I'm worried. As you said, she's a walking bucket, and Juju is the real deal. How big is Juju? She looks like she's about 6'3". She needs to go to the Pistons. Is she better than the Pistons? Kate Cunningham is going to give her a nice dime or two. Sherwin said Juju is 100% bucket. She is a bucket. Stats lie. There was a graphic that showed a statistician saying they padded John Stockton's stats. I'm going to go further into this another show, but just to let you know, stats lie, people lie. Caleb Williams said, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. You know, nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big black American winning machine. And if you ain't first, you're last. Signed, Ricky Bobby, a.k.a. Caleb Williams. He ain't say this, y'all. Back up off of him. He ain't say that. Now, who did say something? The Honey Badger said he not for the portal. He said he got his out the mud because that made him better. So he's not with all these guys jumping in the portal when things aren't roses. He says, I hate the transfer portal. I sat behind Patrick Peterson and Mo Claiborne. I loved it. It made me hustle. It made me hustle harder. It made me work harder. It pushed me to greatness. And Tyrann Mathieu has signed one of the largest safety contracts of all time, his last paycheck. So Honey Badger has spoken. Honey Badger has spoken. Sherman said, nope, no more tush push. Oh, we got to find somebody to run the tush push, man. I got good boy. OG good boy, Miguel Lara. No Kelce, Cowboy defensive line going to have a ball. OG good boy out there on the road, pumping iron and doing TikTok challenges, believes we can't run the tush push without Kelce. So we got to draft a really good center or get an OG, get a vet. OG good boy said we're not going to be able to do it. 82, my worry is with the rest of the Eagles O-line want to stay now that the heart of the line is gone. If you want a job, you want to stay employed, you're going to go to where the money is. No way I would trade Justin Fields to trade Caleb. Yeah, I think you know what you're going to get with Fields. You don't know what you're going to get with Caleb. I agree with the Honey Badger. Stay and work. Ray Domingo said JT Daniels doesn't hate the portal. JT Daniels transferred 4 times? Maybe 5 times. I saw some cool picks, man. This ain't got nothing to do with my show. But MJ versus Prince. Ain't that dope? Prince in his high heels. Prince. Shoot the J. Shoot it. Game. Blouses. All right, so as G said, where will Russell Wilson sign next? Let's go Raiders. You think Raiders? I think he goes to the Steelers. Harrison needs to be #1 pick overall. He's a home run. No doubt about it. All right, my mental reps, man. Let me get into it. Brain reset needed. I went to a conference this week, and one of the keynote speakers says when we deal with trauma, we must reset our brains. So as we deal with mental health and avoiding that dark place that we could all go to in the drop of a hat if we're not careful. If you've been through anything in life, or if you're experiencing something difficult, when you come out of it, you got to reset. You have to get back to what inspires you. You have to get back to your why and why you grind, why you want to work hard, why you want to get to your next level. If you deal with the trauma or the hardship, the grief, and you don't address it, it can be what that lady was experiencing at the game that I talked about earlier. Just a negative outlook on life. How do we avoid getting to that spot, getting to that point of no return? Reset, man. Reset. Press that hard reset button on your brain. Forget about it, man. Forgive those who have done wrong to you, even if they haven't repented and said they were sorry. It's not your job to carry that weight. It's your job to move on. You got kids to raise. You have a family to raise and be a husband to be a father to be the patriarch that you are. We have to press that reset button and not allow the trauma, the getting fired, getting a divorce, as if you just have a girlfriend and your girlfriend leaves you, whatever that might be. Reset, man. Get back to who you are. That way you can move forward and grow. Amen. All right, y'all. Thanks to all my peeps for tuning in. Thanks to my sponsors. NGBN TV Network is moving. We're growing. Coming up next, The Ride with Chevy and Nasty on the NGBN TV Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Android devices. Download the app. Remember, April 6th, equip 100,000 lives. 100,000 people to save lives. Sounds like a plan? All right, y'all. That's my show. I appreciate y'all. Peace out.